Good evening, everyone. My name is Alan Nardi, Chairman of the Historic Commission. Welcome to our meeting dated the 1st of May, 5:30 p.m. I'd like to start first by taking the roll call of our commissioners president. Vincent Walsh. The hearers for me. Thank you. Dan Thorpe. Marissa is absent. Judith Powell. Vice Chair Walter Kroll.
Here.
And myself. Thank you. First on our agenda, we have acceptance of minutes from. Make a motion to accept the minutes from the 17th, so second. We have a second. Thank you. All those in favor?
Yeah. Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Commissioner. First on the agenda was 110 Thompson Street. It's been withdrawn by the applicant. Correct. Yes. Well, thank you for that information. We move on next to 1519 Litchfield Street. There's someone here speaking. Yeah, please come on up to the table. You're welcome. And if you don't mind, give us your name and residential address.
Okay, so my name is Irina. Maybe it will be easier if I will to you.
I'll just repeat, just for the record, we're recording it.
Okay. Irina Tsupko, and I'm living in 52 Irving Street. I'm from VP Management Company, and I will be talking behind behalf owner.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I need to go there.
No, you're good. You're right, you should be.
Okay.
We will ever.
Yeah. We have it with it. Yes. Okay, so I will read the request for appropriateness. To repair the rear porch, replace the railings and the decking boards. Project has been completed. PT wood used to match existing material. Pressure treated. Attached to the application are photos.
Mhm. Yeah, okay, so I'm so sorry, my English not so good. I'm living in the 1 year and 4 months, and I started to learn English only here. So I will explain you how it was. So our owner, he had some connection, and they decided the porch was in bad condition, or it was something bad in this porch. So we have to do the repairs. And you know what, I started working in this company from October 2024, but this whole problem was coming from summer. And I know that the porch was in such a bad condition that it was like super dangerous. And we all the time start to speed up the process, but always we had some problems. I don't know what's going on 100%, but what I know after that, our vendor, he started to do the repairs, and we spoke with building commission department, and they was okay for that. But they said, okay, we understand that this is a dangerous situation, and you have to be super quick. So just do that, but please take permit. So, and we are in process to do the permit, but when we come to the building department again, they said, okay, but guys, first go to you and have your positive something. So for that, yeah, so we are we're in circle in this situation. So we do, everything is okay, everybody is agree, but we just need you guys to help us. It's seriously, and our owner, he he have to pay every Friday $150 every Friday. By doing 1 year, so it's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I do.
The photograph stuff.
Yeah, photos and then that's a Google Street View of Right there.
It's the old.
Yeah, and I believe from the last meeting, we were saying that. It was aluminum siding
Mhm.
and they are proposing. Yeah, the pressure treatment.
For the deck.
Yeah, they were.
It sounds good, it's nice.
Any questions from the commission? Yeah, I'm just rereading here, so it was, should. Well, part of our question last time, so this is not being, this is not just, I mean, you can listen to what I'm saying. Was that we were looking for some verification that it was pressure treated, because they represented that it was pressure treated before they did it. If it was, it's a different question to us relative to using their tongue roof. Per flooring, decking, or pressure treated. So they didn't give you any information relative to that, or any pictures or anything that might, so they just kind of threw it
Yeah.
out there, threw it to the wall. Okay. Where is the owner that the owner can't come in and see us?
He live in another state, so he like another side of America now, so that's why he can't come in.
And what happened to the person that was here at the last year?
It was Vicky, I believe, and she's like, we have our vendor who did the repairs, and Vicky, she's his boss. So, and this lady was trying all the time to get a permit, and she get info that she have to come to you guys and ask you about your access. I
But
think.
when she got that information. The job was already done.
Yeah, yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes, and you know what, inspector, because I spoke, and before all this process was started, when I know about that, I spoke with a lot of guys from all departments. And guy from building department, he said, I was okay. He said, I even do not give like, so when our vendor did the repairs, the inspector was on the place, he saw it, and he even don't give him like stop job something, so like ticket, stop job ticket.
Stop.
Yeah,
Stop.
so, yeah, so everything is okay. We just need you guys to look at if you're okay with that, if you like it. So please give us like permission to move forward.
Okay, and just take another minute of the admissions time, your time. What is left to be done?
Let's go.
Is there anything else to do on these back porches?
To be honest, I don't know if anything we need to do more, but now it looks good, to be honest.
Well,
Because previous it was super dangerous, seriously, guys.
what is your question before we painted? No, I'm just, she just said so we can move on, like there was other work that was gonna be done. I said, is there other work scheduled to be done?
No, sir, everything is like done there. We just need like that you, for example, give us something that we can go with this paper to the building department and they can give us permit. So it's only thing what we need, certificate.
Well, you had a permit, I thought. They said you had a permit. They
No.
just gave you a stop work order.
No, they don't give us stop work order.
Okay, I'm now, okay, just try to tell me that again
Okay.
slowly. It's okay, go take your
Okay,
time.
okay. So, when our vendor was in a place, he did his work. And, Vicky, lady what was previous, she come to building department and said, guys, we do the work because it's dangerous. He said, okay, and you just need to do the permit. But to do the permit, you can, if we will be here. And, the inspector from building department come to our guy who was vendor and check everything. He was okay with it, and he do not give him stop order, so everything like good.
You understand the work was in. Right, the work is completed. Here's,
Yeah, work was in
here's the
progress.
general problem that we have, or that I have. These commissioners can speak for themselves.
Mhm.
Part of historic preservation is using the same material that came off. And that porch would have normally had a tongue and groove fir wood decking. And they replaced it with pressure treated like deck boards, which normally would be done. But they represented that
Mhm.
it was pressure treated prior to this. And if it was, that's different because they can replace it in like if it was pressure treated prior. Part of what we were after was some proof that it was pressure treated prior. But at this point, there's really nothing else we can do. I don't think so. That's, I gotta,
So I
That's
can
it.
ask, so I'm asking staff, no other evidence was presented.
No, it's just recently that I was able to get in touch with someone from the property management team, Jessica, so.
Mhm.
Okay.
And my understanding that they're not issuing certificates of occupancy because of the deck. Did that come up at last meeting?
They can't, from what I'm understanding is the building department needs our certificate.
Yeah.
For them to complete, the permit
Yes.
process and then the accidents.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, you're the same.
yeah, I mean,
Thank you.
yeah, but the reason I keep interjecting this is because the next project you do,
Mhm.
can't just do it.
No, sir, we will not, so
You
now
have-
we understand the
Because if we
process.
come back in front of us
Mhm.
again and you say, oops, we did it again.
No. To be honest, it's what I know is the super first situation in this company, was the super first, brand new situation. We never like handle the same process.
And part of it, because they have you in the hot seat right now, just so I apologize, because this is not you, we know this. It's not about you. But they also did it without a permit in the first place. Never mind, they didn't come here. They did the work without a permit. In that,
VP?
Huh?
VP management?
yeah, whoever this. Whoever the owner is,
Never said, go ahead and do it.
They did it with no permit in the first place, and any qualified or legal licensed contractor should never be doing a job without a permit.
This first time when what did the porch, yes, you said.
Yeah,
about-
no permit.
It's
So-
the owner, okay,
Right,
okay, I got it.
so we had a couple things go wrong here that we don't want to see repeated.
I got you, sir, I promise that we will not do that again. If this guy will do something like that again, we just say, like,
What is your relationship?
no relationship, I'm just, to be honest, I'm like a manager in my company, that's it. Only because I have 8 years experience in Poland to do the same stuff. I don't have any relationship.
I mean, you're employed by the property manager. that
Yes,
manages
sir,
that building.
yes, sir.
Can I, staff, can I ask you to put up a photo that shows us what's visible from the public way? I think it was a previous photo.
Was it was
This one.
Yeah.
So this is what's visible.
That's
That's
the
the
old,
old one.
old
That-
one.
But the view.
That's it, still the same.
That's what you would be seeing from the public. This is what we're voting.
And my question is, how do we classify this? Because we can't make it appropriate.
No, it's correct.
And I mean, unless we do it under non-applicability, is it to take the premise that it was already pressure treated and they replaced it with light material? No, I don't know. I think that was. Well, they would.
Before we go any further, any other, else have questions?
I have one.
Please.
So could you explain to us what you believe as a manager of the company, the process is when you have a building in a historic district? What is the process if even emergency work has to be done?
For future.
Yes,
Okay, for future, if, for example, we have the same situation, of course, I first go to the building department. And first of all, I will hire the next time the guy who already has license, permit and stuff like that. Because now I understand the process. So if historical stuff we have, we need you guys. So I will never like live without that. So I always, first of all, if I even need permit, first of all, I come to you. After that, I can go with your papers to do the permit. I understand the process.
Okay.
okay,
Yeah, that's what you.
that's what I'm doing. Thank you.
Well,
This is the hearing, correct?
Yeah.
So we can probably open it to the public. So we'll just take a minute to open this up to the public for anyone who is either in favor or not for the issuance of a certificate of appropriateness for 15 to 17 Litchfield Street. Yes,
My name is Harry Seymour, and the 68 Washington Road, and And I just want to make a comment, like this building left its historic nature. It's quite some time ago. You can see it just, and it even seems odd that it's here in front of you.
Okay, thank you. Four is.
Before,
Again, it's okay, just your, comments. Anyone else, either for or against? Okay, so I'll close the public hearing and I'll bring it back to the commission.
Commissioner, is it under appropriateness
Well,
or not?
right, I was just gonna ask, I'd like to hear the commission's feelings about that. For me, because I need to vote for what I see from the public way. I'm okay with the appropriateness, because there's no way I can see the floor deck roads.
And I'll agree with you, only because I'm gonna make the assumption that it was pressure treated before. Prior, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks nice, it's safer, its tenants are better off because of it. But the management and owners need to know that the process has.
Process will follow, right.
Yeah, I understand the problem. For
And I know-
future, I will not do this mistake.
Right, so commissioners, I'm open to. If you have a motion one way or the other.
Don't you accept?
Becky. Your second? Yes. Comments or questions or further discussion? So we're voting regarding the inspector appropriateness. Walter Crowe? Yes. Judith Crowe?
Yes.
Vincent Walsh? Yes. Yeah, that's four?
Yes.
Ellen Arnold was yes. Okay, thank you very much. So, yes,
I'm okay
you can get a certificate from our staff.
tomorrow.
In the coming days. I'll make sure you get it.
Okay, I will call you. I have your number.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, Andrew, as Commissioner Walsh mentioned, make sure you note that it's the assumption that it was pressure treated in the certificate, just so this one doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's in the record that the representative now understands the process.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. So we're on our way next to some new public hearings, starting with 36 Western View. If someone here. For that property, is not all right. So please give us your name and residential address.
Hi, my name is Alexis Murphy, and do you have the
Where
address
you live?
where I live at 46 Berkeley Street, that's good enough.
36 Western View. Elmer Vines.
So let me take a minute and read this, this request is basically says, due to high electrical bill, the homeowner proposes to have solar panels installed. Community solar will be installing 5.74 kilowatt DC 14 panels. And perhaps the application layout for the panels and stuff. So what would you tell us about the request?
So, I've been trying to get solar panels since my neighbors have solar panels. But I got denied like 2 times. I was involved in historical commissioner, but I think they were part of it and. But they told me that we can make this happen because other historical houses have them in the front of the house. And that's where my 90%, almost 100% sunlight hits. And I'm just here to get our team. you know, light bill is going up and I need, and, you know, I need help.
Your house is on your street, you would solar panels.
Yes.
I have a photo.
Can you tell us about the plan? I think that's what the chair was asking for.
Yeah.
What kind of the layout, where the panels would be, where the
Yeah.
conduit would run, where the shut off would be.
So I actually have or there's a design layout, so it would be on the front of the home on both sides, on either side of the peak. The conduit, he does have attic access, so we may be able to run the conduit through the attic. And then his meter is on this side of the home, so, it would be a very simple conduit run. His meter isn't in his basement, so we don't need to do any kind of relocation for his meter at all.
Existing on the outside.
Yes.
Would there be conduit running down the outside of the building down to your switching mechanisms?
Yeah, so it would run down from the top of the building to the meter.
Can you pull up that elevation so we can see where the other side?
That's all.
It's the front there.
So it would be on the left side? No, it would be on
Right
the
there,
right
the
side.
right side, right there.
You just see the meter.
Correct.
So the conduit cannot be run through the house and then out through the basement wall to get to your equipment.
Not that I'm aware of.
And what would this conduit be?
I have photo examples if you'd like to see. Sure.
The idea is, what is it gonna look like?
Yeah, sure.
Painted, et cetera, et cetera.
No, it's not painted, it's basically a silver small,
See metal.
yes. Yep,
And can it be painted to hide it a little bit more, painted the colors of the side of the house?
not that I'm aware of.
They can, sorry.
You can?
Yeah.
Oh, good, so.
Absolutely.
Are you with them?
Yeah,
The same-
not
same
for that job, but.
Well, yeah, because we know that they always have something that they paint.
Yeah.
On the side of the house, it's better differently, maybe just covers it, but silver is what we don't want.
Gotcha,
Something that would want, is this the first time you sat with us?
Yeah, it is.
Not yours.
No.
It's been here. So, the idea that we look for is, we're not against solar panels at all. That's very much in favor of them within the limits that we have set as guidelines for solar pollution. It's minimum visibility, not of the panels per se. In a way there is, because we need them to be flush, not, you know,
Yes.
not sticking up. But everything else, we don't want to see it.
Okay,
So anything you can put through an attic, we want to put through an attic. Anything you can hide. You know, some other houses, they still have meters in the
in the
basement.
basement, yeah.
We have had things put on the back.
Okay,
Minimum visibility is the whole goal of this for
Okay.
us, not, you know, I mean, there's rules where the panels can go on. But that's what I want you to think of when you're putting the boxes on the side of the house. What will make them the least visible? Somebody driving down a historic street looking to the right and see it.
that makes sense.
So you're taking a photo of the switching mechanisms.
Yes.
Other, when she's looking, other commissioners with questions?
I just wondered, as you go down, it's going to be obvious that it goes over those different levels. Is there any way you could run it behind that dormer that sticks out there? In other words,
Yes.
can you go along the rooftop there and then go down behind it rather than come straight down on the right? See what I mean?
Yeah, I do see what you're saying. That's something that I could definitely talk to our design team about. So you're saying to come on the opposite
right
side
way.
of this here and then run it underneath
Right.
and then to the meter there.
It
That's
wouldn't,
something I
then you don't have the
discussed with
straight,
them. Straight down.
actually jagged, it would go in and out several times.
Right, right. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
What is that?
Oh,
That punch out right there.
That's the bump out.
That's the stairs.
Okay.
And I just redid front side.
so the conduit, I think what she's
Yeah,
saying
that's
can
a
come back down behind the soffit or under the side,
Yeah,
and then down
Cause first that.
and along the side of this window,
behind it.
behind it, I mean, behind it.
Side that we would see.
So it would go all the way
Behind-
around and down.
So it would come down behind this bump out
Mhm.
and then back underneath to get to the switching mechanism.
Right.
The only concern with that is we would have more conduit to hide. Because we have to run it all the way, because generally where your meter is,
It's a touchscreen.
where your meter is where your electric box is inside, so we would have to have conduit go all the way down, but it would be below the bush line probably.
Yeah, and then back up behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's minimum visibility, quote the great Benny Wolf. That's all it's all about, that's what it's all about, if it's low enough and you don't see it, then.
Yeah, it just depends on is all this brick right here? Yes, all that is brick. Yeah, it just depends on if we can't put it
If
on
we get it
brick,
right.
so we'd have to be up, so there might be.
On the very
like
bottom.
A foot.
At the
above
bottom of the
bush.
But I think it would be less
Yeah.
visible than something that comes out here, in there, down
Yeah.
there, out there, down here.
Yeah, I see what
So if
you're
you could do that, it would basically hide it
Yeah,
behind the
agreed.
window.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Plus it's gonna run laterally, it will blend in more with the shape lines, this also all laterally.
Yep.
So.
Any other commissioners, questions? Okay, so I'll take a minute and open this up to the public. This is a public hearing. We have anyone in the audience who's interested in either for or against certificate for 36 Western Blue Street. Yes, please.
Jennifer Ralph, United Hotel Road, my historic district. I would only be for it on the condition that they comply with, Commissioner Nasco's suggestion that the condo would be run along the lines of the house and behind the window, as opposed to being run down the different elevations of the side of the house, because that will be extremely visible from the street. And paint is not going to stick, even if they paint it to that metal for very long, it's going to require a lot of maintenance.
So you're saying you would be in favor as long as that's proposed?
With Commissioner Nasco's.
Understood. Anyone else either for or not? Thank you. I'll close public hearing, bring it back to the commission. Commissioners, I'll be glad to accept the motion, perhaps maybe leave that commission in this form.
If the contractor is willing to accept that, that would go a long way for making me happy. I'm not sure about the other commissioners, but I anticipate that they would be.
Thank you.
All right, so what is your motion?
That we accept the petition on the, with the requirement that it could run, that it be painted to match the color of the house, that it run laterally and then behind the window and then back, so that it's not visible, at least minimally visible from the street. Are you willing to accept that?
Yes.
And down at the bottom will be running laterally along the top of the brick line.
Right.
Back to the meter.
Back to,
Second.
and I heard a second. Thank you very much. Further discussion, commission? Yes.
There's not gonna be any changes to the roof.
Correct. There would be no changes to the roof.
Anyone else?
Yeah, just the location of the other boxes. Is it possible that they not be higher than the meter?
Not be higher than the meter? I believe so.
Yeah, they're
They
not.
could be, yeah, it could be flush with it.
We'd like that to be, would you be able to accept that as part of the motion?
Yes.
The switching mechanism not be higher than the existing. Good, okay. All right, so then I'll take a vote. Vincent Walsh? Yes. Janet Espo?
Yes.
Yes, Walter Crowe?
Yes.
Judy Crowe?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Good.
you.
We tell everyone if there's any change to the plan as we presented, you have to. For some reason, the conduit thing can't work, you gotta run it differently, there's gotta be some kind of change. Or don't do it and come back, or get caught, or have to stop work, or come back and ask.
Okay.
Work it out. All right.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Good luck in your project.
Thank you.
We're gonna move on to the next public hearing for 130 Third Glade Avenue. Someone gets to that property.
The tag team.
Give us your name and residential address.
My name is Mark McCormick and my address is 990 West Road.
Is that the petitioner submitted an application for certificate of appropriateness for the purpose of installing 14 solar panels. I'm sorry, 20 solar panels on the south facing roof of the building. The meters and switches will be placed on the south side of the building towards the rear of the building, up behind the north. So I'll have you give us some further detail.
So the actual street line for this house is in the rear. Which is the first time I've ever seen this. There's poles running through the backyards back there. So the meter is actually all the way in the back behind that window pump out there.
Red Hook.
Red House is 130.
Yeah.
That's this, yeah. That's not it.
Looks like it ended just out of the roof.
Yep. Only less than a meter. 130, you got one.
The red one is what's in the paperwork.
Looks like it's red.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is the red one.
I was just there today, I like, and I'm colorblind. Apparently.
It's okay.
What color was it when you were there? Yeah, right. What did it look like
Did it
today?
change?
Yeah, that's it. Yep. So if you keep that up for one moment, if you see that bump out right there, that the equipment is already behind that for the meter.
Cool.
And the shut off
Yep.
for it. So we'll be back there.
Great.
Yeah.
Any conduit along the roof line that you want to see?
Nope, we're gonna connect everything inside and then we'll come out and inside the attic space and then come out the back, leave. You see where it's at, that little M is right there, straight down right there.
Commissioner, questions? Getting better there.
Yeah, this one was pretty
Clean.
clean, yep.
Yeah.
Good. And so we take a minute then and open this public hearing up to the public. Is there anything you like to speak either in favor or not? For this application for 130 Third Glade Avenue. Since there's no one, I'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioners, I'm open to a motion if you so please.
Make a motion, we accept the application for solar on 31st Lane Avenue as presented.
Second.
Second, thank you. Further discussion? Then we'll take the vote. Alder Crowe,
Yes.
Judy Crowe,
Yes.
Vincent Walsh, Shannon Esco.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You guys, good to see you all.
So, thank you for the.
The assist.
Yeah.
Nobody else wants over.
Next on the agenda was continuance. The homeowner has requested a continuance, is that correct?
Yeah, they're out of the country, so they're gonna be available at the next meeting. Yeah, we're back.
So commissioners, I'd like to have a motion to allow the continuance on the project.
So we continue. Point three, we'll add to the next meeting.
Second.
Thank you very much. No further discussion. All right, Walter Crowe,
Yes.
Judy Crowe,
Yes.
Vincent Walsh, Shannon Esco.
Yes.
Yes. Continuance is granted. Thank you. Anything on that? On the agenda, 29 years old road. Certificate of appropriateness. Coming up. Please give us your name.
Jennifer Round, 29 Ingersoll Grove, in the Atlantic Historic District.
The petitioner has submitted an application for certificate of appropriateness for the purpose of replacing the asphalt shingle roof with a copper roof. I think so.
So all of the upper roofs are still their original slate, and I've replaced half of the valleys with reproduction copper valleys, and we'll work on the other side as well. But all the lower roofs have been replaced with asphalt shingles sometime in 2003. And I'm guessing that's because the snow and ice coming off of the high slate peaks was probably just destroying the slate. And the area I'm talking about is actually on the right side of the house where there's a porte cochere. So you're gonna back up the street and turn around a little bit. So you see the porte cochere on the driveway, then there's a sleeping porch, that area that's in the shade. It's over unconditioned space, that's not overheated space, it's asphalt, it has a very low slope compared to the rest of the house. So when we get snow sliding off the high peak from the slate roof, it just piles up to like 3 feet high. And what it did is it started rotting out all of the wood along the sleeping porch. I've had to replace all the exterior historically correct to their proper profile. And I put historically correct storms with the parting bead at the proper space to match the windows that were there. Still have to repair the interior of that porch. But I'm afraid that if I continue with another asphalt roof, I'm going to end up with wood rot. I mean, there's only so much maintenance you could do. So in looking for a solution, I thought that the best idea would be a copper standing seam roof, which would kind of provide a slide for that snow to come right off, because it won't stick like it would on an asphalt roof. That's my hope, at least. And copper standing seam is appropriate for the period. It might not have been original to this house, but it certainly has been done. I think I gave you examples of other buildings in the city in which it was done. There is also another house in my neighborhood that did standing seam. It's not copper, it's 138 Harvard, and they did a really nice job of restoring their house. So I don't think it looks bad. And this is fairly hidden. It's a very limited space. Again, all the slate will stay on the porte cochere. I'll be replacing the copper valleys on both sides of the porte cochere. The copper along the wall of the sleeping porch will replace what's now aluminum, which of course is cross-reactive with copper, so that's a problem. Hopefully that's the solution that will keep the snow from piling up. Other than me getting out on the roof and trying to shovel it, which I've done, and gets real dangerous when the top roof lets go.
Commissioners, questions? I like it. Yeah. So my
Actually, doing valves, he's on the fresh top, it could be appropriate.
yeah, absolutely. The comparable document used for valleys. My only concern for you is that the standing seam copper, as you said, the snow would slide off. So is there something that can be hurt underneath it as it slides off to the ground? I've seen in my own house snow sliding off of a roof like that. It comes down in a thunder. So in that case, what they would have done is use snow guards. And the evil in addition to stop the break.
We looked at that, but unfortunately, there's about 3 or 4 roof lines that all meet. So it would be a major system. I'm going to put snow guards all at the top of it, and I'm just a little concerned about the weight of that snow sitting up there.
Is the snow coming down into some bushes, or is it coming down on a sidewalk?
It comes in front of the left pillar of the porte cochere. So we just kind of know to keep the car back a few feet whenever it snows.
It's more serious vessel roofs.
Yeah.
And hopefully because it will now come off earlier as opposed to, you know,
Yeah,
a
you get
week
about
later.
3 feet, yeah.
Yeah, it'll come off
You'll get,
softer.
I think you'll get melt too, because it's copper,
Mhm,
it's gonna heat up from the sun,
mhm.
and so it's gonna come off earlier than this,
That's the hope.
so.
It should be very pretty.
Okay, any other questions from the commission? So let me open it to the public. Is there anyone here who would like to speak either in favor or not for the certificate for 29 English Road? Yes, please.
I'm Harry Seymour from 68 Washington Road, and I'm not only going to say I approve of this, I'm excited about it. We're removing asphalt and putting in copper and keeping slate. Wow.
Yes. Thank you for your comment. Anyone else either for or not? Thank you. I'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioners, I'm open to.
We can have written public comment, Jim.
Would you like to?
Is it?
It's in the.
Yeah, is it?
Thank you from Jim Boone, their historic commission members. I were in support of the roof replacement at 29 Ingersoll. The applicant has clearly researched the materials and designed to make a viable case that the materials to be used are appropriate historically for a house of stepping and architectural significance that 29 Ingersoll Road represents. Everything the applicant has done to this house has been of the highest quality and has been elaborated with materials that are correct and respectful of the design and architecture of the house. Thank you for your careful consideration to all applications for the work in the Night Historic District. Which is, okay, thank you. So commissioners, I'm open to a motion if I'm so please.
Make a motion, we accept the application as presented.
Second.
Do you have a second? Thank you very much.
2 seconds, how's that?
Me?
Yeah, 2 seconds.
Further discussion. Start, Walter Kroll.
Yes.
Vince Walsh. Yes. Ben Escort.
Yes.
Peter Kroll. Yes. And Martin.
That's for all the extra work in there. Thank you. for
Yeah.
The illustration.
Thank you for a very.
Thank you for all the extra kind of work that you did need to provide. It's very nice. Nice job.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next request, 6 Oxford Street. Enforcement of windows. Someone- You done? Okay. Please give us your name and residential addresses for the record.
Daryl Godwin, 19 William Street, Massachusetts.
Thank you.
Improve that. Sorry, I just did that. I would just.
All right, that's- The petitioner submitted an application for certificate of hardship for the purpose of replacing all single pane windows to triple wood. The petitioner is proposing North Line 3 assorted windows, presumably vinyl, white in color with various hued patterns. The lower sashes do not appear to have mullions over the lower set on the lower side. So I presume that you are here to speak together, or would you like to give us some definition?
Yes, actually. We just read it saying, right? It should be desert sand.
That's like, it's white.
Yep. Right, that is an error.
Okay, so we'll correct it with the color presented, and desert tan. Desert tan, which is very like this.
And just for people like me that don't know what color that is, that like a,
Like a baby.
Yeah, it's more of a
Beige.
beige.
okay,
Correct.
great.
This is a request under hardship, the money that was reasonable utility costs to include the home. Homeowner is unable to fund the project cost in their life. They have qualified for an income-based window replacement program based on income limitation and economic. Okay, commissioners?
I just look at that, it looks like most of them are six number ones. which are really part of the problem with that. Let's see, can't really see any of those. Are any of these replaced already?
So,
Looking through the pictures, looks like some of them are replacement windows already, not, I don't think it's like they're not original.
correct, the windows that are in there now are not original. Somebody did start replacing the windows, they were custom building the windows. The way that they were being reproduced are not fitting the openings properly. And there's no way for them to actually seal it.
And it was kind of, not relative to the functionality, just
Yeah.
the reality that they had already been replaced. That's
Correct.
a lot of them or a few of them.
Most of them. The majority of them.
Do we have a sample or a photograph? Actual minimum itself?
I did not have a sample. Photo we can pull up somewhere. We did actually just get approval for the neighbor's home adjacent to the property, that 50 reader view. For the same window.
I remember you were here before, so that's the same window that we approved?
Yes.
This is the same window.
Yes.
It's low on.
Like sits lower.
Where it's sitting low, it doesn't have a big line.
So it's got like the slim line.
Slim line.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, 50 reader view here. This is one that we just.
Yep.
The one issue that we had over here was we had the grids on.
Grids on the top and bottom, and the right one, the bottom one was.
So this one here, all the grids on.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
But I can't really read through this to find that.
Yeah, yeah, they will be like excellent.
Color is the only thing you have, you should know.
It was the same color presented for this one.
Can we go back to this target house?
Yeah.
Please.
Which is.
It's probably almost blend with the color.
No, I agree, I just didn't know, I just didn't want to not ask.
No, I think it's a good
Suggest
question.
that.
It's a good question. Good question, good question.
All right, other questions, commissioners? Okay, so let me bring this out to the public, since this is a public hearing. For anyone in the audience interested in offering their thoughts either for or against this request for certificate of hardship for 6 Oxford Street. No one in the audience, I'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioners, I'm open to motion and if you have further detailed discussion.
I wonder why they were going with the cream and not with a brown. Doesn't matter in this case.
So with this particular window, this is being funded through a program. So there's very limited funding. This company extrudes that color material. If it's not that type of material, then the window has to be painted, which extremely differs the cost on it. So is the reason for the hardship. Correct.
So there's no other colors other than desert
That's what they got.
sands in that window?
Without it being painted. Right. It's just the white and desert sand that are extruded.
Well, we approved the desert sand next year.
Correct. Other questions, discussion?
We're just looking to make some motion in terms of colors and.
Correct.
Yes. I apologize.
I'll make a motion, we accept the application for 6 Oxford Street with the stipulation that the color be desert sand specifically, and that the top has external reliance over it.
Okay, I have a second. I do have a second, thank you, Commissioner. I'll take a vote unless someone has further requests of information or discussion. Walter Crowe?
Yes.
Ben Esper?
Yes.
Woody Crowe?
Yes.
Martin, yes, and Vincent Wall? Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Saying if anything changes, let us know. This isn't part of this, but just as a suggestion for the manufacturer, if he wants to be in the historic business, black's where it's at.
Yeah.
That the old joke is if you wanna make it look Victorian, paint it black.
Yeah.
And it's funny and it's not funny, because it's one of the things that always comes up. Holes, conduit, windows. So when you do business with these guys, you're the customer.
And they do
You just-
offer a blacking paint, like I said, just.
If he's, I mean, you guys are spending the money is what's talking, so tell the manufacturer, hey, I can probably do more business in the storage districts if you offer black. Anyway, lucky time.
Very good, thank you very much. Thank you. We have one more public hearing on the agenda for north side of State Street. There's someone here regarding the construction of the duplex. Please come on down. Coming, and I would be glad to take a moment, maybe give us the name and the address for the record.
Michael Simmons, 125 Bloomfield Street.
Thank you very much. The petitioner had submitted an application for certificate of appropriateness for the purchase of construction duplex. In the application for the for the. So would you like to talk to us? Yeah.
You don't hurry the contract.
So basically, just trying to follow the other duplexes that were done in the area, Thompson Street, Pine Street. Siding is like a greenish siding. Architectural shingles are also like has like a little green and a little brown in them. The windows are black. Two front doors are also black, but the back doors are white. You can't see them from the street. And the gutters will also be black, I believe. And then the shutters.
I'm aware that some of those other duplexes you're talking about change their plans that have one door enter. One door that enter from the street, new, and then they somehow go to the two units on the inside of the building.
There's a couple out there that do that after they do several other things that were not approved by us.
Right.
Well, I know the one's right around the corner on Thompson Street, which is straight away. Those have the double doors.
The new ones that were built,
Yes.
one was built in a historic district and one was.
The one closest to the product's not in the store,
uh,
so we didn't have any
So we didn't have.
oversight.
But there, they also, those are the ones also where they did the, use deck material to do the.
Yeah, it was during COVID, and they used
Which-
tracks and not right, that was not.
Yeah.
So when the porches, you're saying.
Yeah, they make decks out of it, pretty much porches, porch doors.
Yeah.
We always try and level set stuff, just because somebody next to you has it, doesn't mean it was appropriate. It's like, going down the highway, and you're doing 100, not doing 100, you're doing 95, and I'm the one that gets pulled over. It doesn't mean you guys weren't speeding, it just means you got caught, right? So sometimes people do stuff, and just because they did it, didn't mean it was desired or correct, it just was done, and, so.
So just so we, so you have asphalt, maybe shingles.
Yeah.
Vinyl siding.
Yeah.
The gutters are dark, I think you said black.
Yeah.
Black. The window color,
black,
black. The front door colors,
black.
they're metal insulated doors, but they're painted.
I believe
That's fiber, that's the increment.
Okay. And now the railings and the floor decking, floor of the porch. What are those materials?
You guys just suggested fur decking.
Well, that's,
Preferred, Douglas fir, tongue roof.
So if we go. So if we go Douglas fir, tongue and groove, I would wanna do. I would wanna do the rails. But the rails come with the metal black spindles. You know what I'm talking about,
you mean on the porch or something?
on the porch,
Yeah, that wouldn't be approved. Those spindles wouldn't be approved by us.
the metal
Never
spindles.
have that a lot in here. But there's a lot of other options, historic options that aren't any more difficult, I don't think.
Mhm.
It's. The rail height is. The code height and the historic height are two different things, railings.
I think the historic was like 34.
Yeah, something like that. And so we have a black pipe put in above it to make up the difference in the code. This picture of these front two doors, that porch like that is not, well, you do see houses like that, but it would have been more common in that kind of, just looking at the front elevation there, that porch not have a gable, but have be the entire width of the house. The entire span of the house, without the peak, just like that. And the two doors going into one door going into a space where you can then access each apartment would be more historically correct. You've seen others who. I tend to get hung up on the details of corner boards and details around the windows and things like that, instead of like, putting the siding right up and having a 3-inch, more like a 4 or sometimes at least 4 or 5 inch corner boards and things like that. I can't even read this. Read these glasses, so I can't see what your plan was, but that's just my ideas on the front porch and the front doors.
I'm trying to put as much character to it as I could. And without it just looking so.
I mean, as long as the changes are made before you start, it's easier. Actually, a lot less if we figure this out. I think. The different of anything on the sides or.
We do have the original brochures right there, if you want to see like.
Where's 1 or 2?
Like right, yeah, that packet, right there, not the top stuff.
The chance.
Yeah, all that goes with that. And there's a bigger set of the plans right there.
But this is not, what was the siding you were planning on using?
Vinyl siding.
We have
This is post.
Post. Okay. I'm just giving you a sort of a visual of what's being said.
in a very specific kind of vinyl siding as opposed to just any vinyl siding. I mean, we don't,
It's wood grain.
we tend to not approve of the siding. It's do once in a while, you see it. Usually try not to. And if we have to go to something that's not wood.
Well, it has the grain of the wood in it,
Yeah,
so it's not like a Home Depot siding or something like that.
Yeah, so that's in here somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I may have a sample of it in my truck. It's the cedar
Here.
rolls.
So which one is it? You got lots, there's a lot of colors.
Chicken circle. They-
So, well, when I look at the site, and I have got the commissioner's thoughts are about the 2 doors versus 1 door.
the graphite, yeah.
Graphite color, I mean, what, style, siding, just. Thought there was one in here. Oh, here, this way. Looking at any other types of siding? Recently.
We had one with Free Clarendon. But that was part of a grant application, so the conversation was probably a lot different. And then there was
the side.
oh, it was vinyl.
Nothing other than vinyl, we had a couple of things, we do something different.
Some of it might have been before my time, so I'll do my best to find one here.
What's the one
Because
that
this,
had,
this right here is just regular so maybe it's better quality than Home Depot, but it's essentially the same.
Right, and I get where you're coming from, and I mean, as we all know, I'm racing and just trying to keep the project feasible and doable. Just, you know, the cost of everything else with the gutters, windows, and, you know, and roofing and what have you is gonna be enough cost, so.
we just had a proposed 2-unit on Ingersoll that had blackboard, it was not wood, but it looked like wood.
It was hardwood.
It was hardwood.
It was a hardwood.
Very hardwood. Yeah, that was something that we approved.
And it was able to paint.
Yeah.
Can you put the move that back up there? What? Yeah. So you're saying go to the 1 door?
Well, we're just tossing around suggestions, more historically accurate would be 1 door. And in my opinion, I'm not sure if any particular agree with me that style that was even able to one long porch across the front without.
Well, for me to go to a 1 door, this part doesn't work.
The floor plans.
It doesn't.
You couldn't create, it looked like you could create a small hallway with 2 doors into the apartments as you stepped inside.
Just because of the way the party wall is created and the separation between the 2 units, it would all have to be. The French would work.
Because we literally had someone a couple of meetings ago with the same thing, and they. And they changed it.
You're talking about like there's Copernic Street up in the Orchard, they proposed duplexes.
Yeah.
And then there was also one in Ingersoll. Would you imagine? I can bring up those 2 if you want.
Well, just to refresh, it wasn't visual, I think I'd like to see it again, because I don't remember it in detail, just I want to see what the plan was.
Wasn't the recent one on Central Street also changed to a single door?
Which one?
Central, I think it was Central Street.
That one. I'm not familiar, that might have been a little bit before me.
So, Pine Street would change. That's in the Pine Street. Pine Street.
Pine Street.
Yeah, Pine Street was
Yeah.
just
Literally
before
just
me,
did the site visit.
so, yeah, that was before my time.
We wanted a regular porch to match, that was the same thing with all of those, we most had a full.
Well, I
porch.
did. You know, just to make it up, I did come and talk to Andrew first. So I mean,
We're not attacking you.
No, I know, I
Like
understand.
it's your plan, you're coming here, we're saying.
Yeah, yeah,
"No,
yeah.
why aren't you doing that? How come you're
I-
not doing that?" So I
No,
apologize, I
no,
feel like we're.
no, I
talking.
totally
We're-
get it.
we're-
I mean,
We're trying to just,
if the
Yeah.
one door thing was there
yeah,
before I spent the money on this, and
Yeah.
then. You know, there's one door would have been there, but I wasn't told that. I was basically told everything else that I.
Yeah, we
I can't
usually,
remember.
an architect or designer would take into account that they're in a historic district and realize that it's not appropriate to have to be a side by side.
I think this one originally had 2 doors proposed. but then- Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's very, did have one, we had one.
What was the other one? This one has, the porch was not full.
Yeah,
I mean, they were willing to change it, but it wasn't full.
yeah, that was,
That was being, that's more of a vision of.
and then compared it.
It's an extension of the roof.
See that one. I want to be trying to compare apples.
So that's what they changed it to.
You know, see, he's got both there. I thought that beaver was out of there in the middle of the porch.
I think it was originally submitted,
It was submitted to,
yeah, there was one, yeah.
But it's two different versions.
Yes, yeah, 2 different plans, and then he
Yeah.
changed it,
That one right there. That's what I was.
yeah. And then for building 1, it was.
which that was the original. Yeah.
That's the original.
And I think when I originally talked to you, this hearing hadn't necessarily been finalized yet, so. this
And
is where,
which one was this?
Copernic. Third floor, up in the orchard. And this is where, we need to, again, I think, refocus on having new construction guidelines. Also,
That's not, I'm looking at some paper right now.
but, yeah, so then he ended up changing it from this one to this,
To the single.
yeah. So it went from here.
Which was more.
Yeah, can you go back to this? That was a great column right here.
I think he found some upgraded shingles too, but they weren't party board, were they? Thought it was something else. What we mentioned.
For the Copernic one. Part of the district, they was. So. The proposed shingles were.
Yeah, the side there,
Yeah.
sorry. Spoke.
But then we had that he was gonna do the shingle look at the top and the copper look.
On one building, you were doing shakes, and on the other, you were doing scallops.
But what was the material they were made out of?
Yeah.
They were hard.
that's what I thought it was.
Gotta be in there, so. Let's see if that says anything.
The 3 columns.
That was the original, right?
I can go with the certificate.
I just would rather know how.
So while you're looking, just for the purpose of saving some time, I'd like to open this up to the public. For any comments, anybody from the public interested in offering for this, or not?
I'm absolutely against this, there's nothing historic about it.
First, your name.
That's Jennifer L, 29 Ingersoll Grove, in the McKnight Historic District.
Okay.
There's nothing historic about its design. I also note that this property was purchased in February by Catic Acquired Properties LLC, a Connecticut developer. This is again an out-of-state, non-resident flipper developer trying to build in our neighborhood. And the cost factor, well, I realize we have to provide housing. All of us have expended a lot of money to try to create this inner city neighborhood by putting money into it and a lot of sweat equity. And when we see developers come in and want to build something that looks like a 90s vinyl clad anywhere in the world, you could have pulled it from house. It's insulting to us because we put so much effort into our house. We sacrifice vacations, we sacrifice our bills so that we can build a house that fits in with the neighborhood and comply with the rules. When you buy a house in the neighborhood, you buy knowing it's subject to those rules. Whether you read them or not doesn't matter. It's part of buying it. To put triple 6 pane windows in there, windows are appropriate, doors not appropriate.
Apologize for it.
Yeah, and the vinyl siding not appropriate. I am not so against the 2-door. If he wants to do a 2-door, let him copy 60 Thompson Street. It's an Italianate from the 1870s when the neighborhood was first being built by the McKnights. The other side of the neighborhood went to the single door in the 1880s.
Well, stop thinking, stop, I think I understand you're not in favor. So, is there anyone else that either for or against?
Harry Seymour, 68 Washington Road. I would like to join Jennifer in opposing this. It doesn't really seem as though a lot of effort has gone into trying to make something that is historically appropriate.
Anyone else either for or not? Thank you. We'll bring it back to the commission. The commission has further questions.
I don't have further questions. Well, there were some, I think it was a modest effort at historic vision. I would suggest that we give them more time to put something together to answer the questions and tell you the siding. The vinyl is not likely to be approved. While some of the features would be approved and some would not. Porches, front door, siding, in the detail, potential detail work of the property, like I said, corner boards, window casings, things like that, things that would make it. Floor, things like that, more appropriate. I wouldn't want to just vote no because of no. I'd rather suggest that they go back to the drawing board and do some more research on materials and things like that, and then come back before us. However, if you wanted us to vote, then we could have.
Yeah, I would just like to just comment on what she said. I'm not out of town. I grew up on 1240 Street. I used to, that's where I was born, raised there. I actually know Mr. Mill very well. I'm not from out of town in post investments. So you're probably looking at city records, but I'm not updated. I'm from McKnight District. That's where I grew up at. And I have been investing in the area. And I don't know how long she's been there, but the property has shown already that it's been cleaned up versus being trashed in bushes for over the years. So I have no problem with going back to the blueprint.
Okay,
If
so
it's a single door, that's fine.
Let me just suggest this. There's no inference here. We understand you're trying to do something good here. We appreciate it. We need people to come forward and try to build houses and try to do it. But we also have And there's new guidelines, we're actually trying to show that we get new guidelines issued relative to the ones we've been playing with the last few years, and they're not quite done yet. That's what this is about, and we want you to build a quality property and, you know, and are you the owner now, is that what you're saying?
I'm young.
Yes, because you're the owner now,
What she's
whatever
saying
it was.
was right.
But, so you're the owner and we want you to be able to build a nice house at a reasonable price where you can, you know, make.
What I
investment,
presented to
make
you
money.
was basically going off of the information that I did come here and gather. I mean, whether it was wrong, whether it was right.
Yeah.
Single door, that's fine. If I can just get a more clear guideline
Just
of what
try it.
we're looking for, what we're trying to do. Before, you know, we just continue to
So,
invest money.
so I hear the homeowner suggesting that more time to be able to present with more detail and or revisions. The whole,
So I'm gonna suggest that Commissioner Walsh, can you give him your bullets?
Did I what?
Give him your bullet points on.
Oh, yeah, the
porch
things that work,
and the
that I'm looking
railings.
for, but everybody else has to, if I miss something.
Yeah, yeah.
I think everyone is.
Because he's looking for input, so
Things like-
it's helpful, I think, if we give him that.
Now, and you may have considered, like, I just can't tell, looking at the picture, everything right to the pitch of the roof, things like that, or, you know, our one pitch is more Israel than another. But I'm looking at front porch, front door. Corner boards, because the little auto vinyl thing, they just stick the vinyl siding and does not represent historic in any way. But there's materials you could research that could be appropriate for you. And molding around windows. We've been told here, no, you can't do that. Yes, you can build a window and mold it any way you want to do it. What some are, you know, 2 inches is not historic, wider is historic, window sills, things like that, and railings are wood. So that goes up inside. The bottom is not just screwed on, that's also in one. You know, that's historic detail that would make a difference in this case. And that's what I'm looking for. Okay.
And so I also suggest that staff can point you in the directions of other properties that have hard duplexes. That might help you. So your request is to continue this to our next meeting, then we can,
I would make that motion to continue to the May 15th meeting, so the homeowner can take up some more time. And if you need more time, then you can talk to Andrew and send him something asking for more time. We're not gonna make you do this in 2 weeks, it takes you more time than now. But, you know, I think you're halfway there, that's the thing, you know, you're halfway there. Okay? And I want you to come back with some detail, and I'd love to be able to give you some work to do. Give you-
Second.
so we have a continue.
That was a long motion, wasn't it? I thought I heard a second
I
already.
think I heard you say. So I'd like to. So I would like to, this is a vote for the continuance. I'll start with Vincent Walsh.
Yes.
Anna Nespor.
Yes.
Marty, Walker Crowe.
Yes.
And Judy Crowe.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. And staff. Okay, that's the end of our public hearings. We have next on our agenda, preservation of historically significant building, 295 Pastoral Road. Please come on up. If we can kind of give us their name and residential address.
Name and address, sir?
Long Gregory Lucas. Address, I live in Springfield, Stony for the drive and over hill. But I'm here for 295 Pastoral Road. Representing Pastoral Road LLC.
Thank you.
So this is the request for application of exemption. Yeah. And you want to tell us a little bit about this building that needs to be done? Well, we own this property, bought the property at public auction when the, property was owned by Springfield Founders. And this building was part of the, was on the premises, on the property, and I think when we were bought one, and the property. It was Oak Street in the back, that's where we're in the front, you see it. And Odessa Street ends fire station, that's the road, we're next door. This is the building that we're looking to take down. Since we've owned the property, we've never really used this building. It just was in bad shape 35 years ago. And we had up until recently, we had someone that came in the summertime and rented a little portion of the building and did some work on automobiles and whatnot, repairing fenders and yes, and stuff like that. That person, he used to just come in the summertime, lives mostly in Florida and works and restores boats. So he's decided that staying there and coming up here every once in a while. The building is just kind of falling apart. It was used originally for storage. And we had some parts that were used for storage, but now it's nothing there. There's nothing to keep the building there, and it just kind of falling apart. We also had to secure the building because part of the roof was caving in on the far as we're looking at it now. Yeah, on that far end of the building, that roof started, so no one goes in there. On the far window that you see, and the door, we secured those from inside, because we've had people breaking in and spending nights inside the building. It's not good.
I don't need to hear anything more.
Anyone else? I have some photographs.
Yeah, they're in the.
All the pictures on the screen, I'm not seeing the significance.
Did George Washington ever sleep here?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We did.
Go wake him up.
We've had the asbestos all inside the building removed, because there used to be on the one back corner, there was a boiler room. We've had that all removed, and there was never, power came from the original foundry building, didn't come from. Power company. That's all been taken care of. And you can see how we put bars on the windows.
Well, I mean, we know we all the codes and all the what have you.
Yeah, how you
Take it down. I'd make a motion that we lift the overlay for this property.
Second.
I have a second. No further discussion. I'll take a vote. Lift it down the lane. So we vote the Pearl.
Yes.
Judy Pearl. Yes. Vincent Wall.
Yes.
Shannon Nestor.
Yes.
Yes.
Any plans for it?
No, we. The whole, years ago, we thought about, which I wouldn't do now, we tell the story. We don't do that, but that now, we'll go back to place. So right now, we're just going to, fix the front of the building, behind this. It will not be visible from Pasco Road. Either painted, sandblasted and painted, or put some siding on. This things look better.
Great.
Put some plantings behind that. We've already started to clean up and put in the back of the big foundry building. Some plantings in the farm, some grass, just to make it look better.
That's great.
Great, so.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to what's next on our agenda. CPC Historic Town Restoration Grants. I believe there are 9 hearings for the start of 32 Fairfield Street. Someone make to represent that property. Please give us your residential address or name for your.
32 Fenner Street, Bridget Baldwin.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Petitioner submitted an application for certificate of non-applicability for the purpose of performing exterior renovations, including repainting the foundation, fixing front and rear porch structural defects, removing and replacing a portion of the roof, and wanting to give us their more description.
I think you basically said everything that is gonna happen. It's the only thing that was missing is the railing to the front steps is loose. It's really just fixing up like foundational things to, it's not a change in how the house is gonna look or anything like that. And just fixing the porch, the front and the back porch is like old, and so it's doing repair. And the under porch also just fell down as I sit here talking to you, so that, it's gonna be repaired. And then the roof, part of the roof had been fixed, but the person who did the roof didn't do a great job. And so there's leaking, so that's the other part. Yes, I think you said everything. And gutters, I think the gutters will be removed and the gutters installed. And then the front door has the original door, I believe, but they're gonna repair or replace that front door. Yes.
Questions for the commission?
So you're basically using the same like materials, the same kind of things, you're just fixing.
Yes, we're repairing, mostly repairing, or if we can't repair, replacing with approved materials. I'm not the contractor, I'm the owner, but
What I think what you're saying,
Yeah.
so it's like install necessary plates to screw the railing, install new support member, Douglas fir, tighten rail, ensure proper support.
yes, right.
Install new match for porch railing, front and gate, so it looks like they're using the same materials over there. Just patch and repair stuff. Late time. Right.
Yes.
Yes.
The only thing I noted, like you're saying, is that they may have to replace the front door.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you were to do that, that would be a separate issue that would have to come before us to show us what the door.
Okay,
Not relative.
it's not the door, it's the screen, the outer screen door. Like, I don't know if they have a picture of the front door, but it's not the actual door. It's the screen door. The storm door, yes, it's that,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes, it's
Then,
that.
then you have to draw that kind
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
of, with a main door.
No, it's not, it's that door right there.
You can make one of it.
It's all wooden metal and screen, so.
So, for this application, next two, since it's CPC funds being, dispersed, it's here for essentially transparency purposes, so. we should probably make that.
So that we're agreeing, that's not political.
Yeah, essentially, and I have like a draft motion, if that works. That's right.
Okay, so commissioners, I'm open to a motion, what we do is read it.
Yep, to approve the proposed exterior renovation project as presented in the application during today's hearing, noting that all the improvements are in kind, thus qualifying for a certificate of non-applicability.
Second, any further discussion?
Peter, you can write for me anytime you want.
Then you decide. We need to start with Larry, it's yes, Walter Crowe.
Yes.
Vincent Wall. Yes. And Escort. And Judy Crowe.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Project.
Yeah.
Tell everybody the same thing, if anything changes, if the project changes, or something changes, come back and let us know what the changes.
No worries, thank you.
You're looking for, you're gonna use fiberglass or something, come back and say, yeah.
Okay, I will, I'm gonna give them the groups next there. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so we're moving on to 70 Cornell Street.
Is that you? Come on down.
Shy, we know you do a feedback there.
Glad to be here. Hope we have some good news. How you doing?
Name and address.
Oh, Anthony Bass and 70 Cornell Street.
That was hard.
No, it's hard to hear it. Okay.
Okay, the petitioner submitted an application for a certificate of non-applicability for the purpose of performing exterior renovations, which include repairs of the foundation, repairs of the chimney, repairing and replacing deteriorated exterior elements, fixing front of your porch structural defects, replacing the roof, and remove and replace gutters. So again, this is a request to see if we would agree that it is not applicable. And questions from the commission?
This is removing asphalt, replacing the asphalt.
Shingles, tail out, the roof shingle,
Yes,
replacing, it's asphalt shingle now.
well, yeah, that, when I talked to Karen and she suggested that that's what we do. I don't know if there's a shot of the chimney part. That, okay,
Yep.
No, geez, that-
Yep, that's,
that's it.
yeah, and
Yeah,
so,
so you're just replacing the.
yes.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if you could back up a couple slides. Oh, right here, yeah, no, there you go for it, yeah, there's actually yeah, there should be a shot where the tip of, the housing, roof there, yeah, right above there, I don't know if there's a shot there, but there's a piece hanging down. From there. There you go,
And molding.
yeah.
Just getting old.
They won't be removing any of the detail, they're repairing it, some of the details. That we could keep the.
Like the little
Yeah, there's-
teeth, the dentals. and,
Yeah.
Pretty. Want to keep all the beauty.
And I don't know if there should be a shot of the porch itself. The porch, oh, yeah.
That's a lot of work.
And see where at the end, yeah, right there. There's a section that's missing. And I was told that, yeah, that's even better shot, that that section, those posts will have to be hand done again.
Yeah.
And I haven't, and I,
It's just wood. It's just wood.
This one got, that's one of the easier.
Yeah,
things
this
to
one's,
replicate.
yeah,
You don't
it's
want
not that,
easier
it's
things
not
to
that hard to make.
oh, okay.
That style railings and balance.
One of the easier.
It's not one of the,
Not bad.
one with.
Oh,
Not bad at all.
when they say handmade, it just sounded like, oh.
No. It's not about, they're just meaning they have to take it in pieces.
Yeah. And so what I was told is that the whole porch needs to be done.
Well, the placement works, so as long as the materials, like kind, works good with us.
Was that again?
As long as it's like kind materials,
Oh,
it's all through here, it's good with us, it's fine.
oh.
Okay, so I think we're hearing the same.
Right. It's a pretty house.
Was that it?
So I would move to approve the proposed exterior renovation project as presented by the application during today's meeting. Hearing and noting that all improvements are in kind and qualifying for a certificate of non-compatibility.
Do I have a second? Thank you very much. All right, let me vote that we agree. Al Nerdy is yes. Vincent Walsh. Yes. David Nestor.
Yes.
Judy Throw.
Yes.
Walter Throw.
Yeah. Good luck on your project.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Two, 59 Fairway Avenue. There's someone here for that kind of it. Is that?
They did respond by email that they were going to be in attendance, so. I guess make a motion to continue to next meeting.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have
Section.
section 106 review.
2808 Main Street, 2808
Main Street.
Yes. Good. Well, sir. And the rest of the rest sit on it, love to sit and watch.
They do. I've heard that. I'll need to put the annual drive to be nice.
And I'm John Burke, the manager of capital project for Pioneer Valley Transit and 68 Front Street in Marion.
I work for us to keep Austin on the project. So the project entails removing an existing ornamental safety railing and access platform with placing a new ornamental safety railing around the parapet of the building. And it's you ask for the anything? I don't know if you have access to email, I sent you an email earlier with updated pictures.
Let me go dump it into a file.
So, the first part of the project calls for the demolition, if you zoom into the top right of the railing, there's an existing ornamental safety platform that is used to service the HVAC unit for the building. It's structurally defect and there's needs to come out of the building, it's unsafe. It's not being used to service the HVAC building or the unit anymore, so we're gonna take that off. Then Andrew, if you can get to the next slide.
Yeah.
Will the unit remain? Yes, the units remain. Yeah, keep going down. Yeah, go to the next. You can see the North Main Street Fire Station. Shots and pictures. You can zoom out if you want.
When was that safety railing put there?
We don't know exactly. We think there's a major renovation in 92. And we think it went then, because that's when the unit's been kind of up there ever since. And but that part that what he's showing going around there for the railing isn't it hasn't been used because it just wasn't practical for that size of the end.
Yes. And you should keep going down. So the new proposed design is to add a new ornamental safety railing around the whole back side of the building, for safety purposes, so people don't fall off the building. And we're matching the same style as the old railing that was taken off. So adding more precision.
When you say it's the same style as the one we just saw?
We're very shallow people here, that's what it looks like.
We have pictures.
We like pictures.
So this is the old building that came off the building.
Yep.
That was basically used to help stop people from falling off the building.
Yep.
There's an HVAC unit. This is what it looked like. This is how it was attached to the building. And we are going through and proposing to add a same style of that, right? And touch it. Outside. Black. Yep. Black is great.
Makes it easy. One black makes it easy.
It's great. Black is
It's gonna be Victorian, it's paint black.
Thank you. Great. Thank you.
That's what we got right there. Just that graph on it.
Yes.
Any other detail to add?
So where was the little one that bumped out and went around?
Just in front of the
It was just right here.
unit, right? Just in the
Yeah.
middle there?
So that demo one is here, and then the other one is here. So we're just adding all around the outside.
That'll give us fall protection.
Yeah.
How high is this ring? The railing is 40 inches.
Make a motion up there.
Right, where were you about 8.5 years I was? Making a motion to find the provided project as presented in the submitted materials and during tonight's meeting will not be detrimental to the building and that the project will have no adverse impact.
Second.
I heard a second, something else. All right, if there's no further discussion, I'll take the vote. Vincent Walsh.
Yes.
Walter Crowe.
Yes.
Cindy Crowe.
Yeah.
And Diana Escrow.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
That's it.
Sorry, that, we get a letter of the.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Nice seeing you.
Good boss.
Good.
Talk to you.
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry, yes, it is. People work in Connecticut, so we're sorry.
Come forward, name and address for the record.
Shannon,
Frank.
And Shannon Fryer. 59 for Springfield, Mass.
Subject property is that, but is that your residential?
It is, yes.
A lot of people give us their project address. We're
Oh.
actually looking for.
No, we live
So
there.
it's both.
Yeah.
So the petitioner submitted an application for certificate of non-applicability for the purpose of performing exterior renovations, which include repairing and replacing the interior and exterior elements, fixing the front and rear porch structural defect, and restoring the existing windows.
Yes.
You're not replacing the windows, you're restoring them.
Correct.
It says in their document, install approved replacement.
We were informed that that the grant doesn't do replacement to restore and fix up the pulleys and things like that.
Yep.
Jonathan, thank you.
That'll look fabulous.
Pretty house.
There's nothing, to be no change that you know of, any, no structural change or material change.
No, not that we're aware of.
Well, in here would figure. You weren't. We're all table, but you weren't here just about to go over the last one. She said in passing that they might change the front door. She actually put the screen door, so I had to point out that if that were the case, that separate item would have to come back. If any item changed and you're actually make a material change to it, then you have to see this. But these are. We will use. We get prepared for
Right. Right. Cause we tried to repair, certain stuff over the time, but it's, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to
You're all
do.
good.
Yeah.
You're all good.
So this one will help us.
Were they functions, Commissioner? Okay, we're hoping for agreement with what is it? Hoping to a motion. Make a motion. Motion made.
Make a motion to approve the proposed exterior renovations project as presented in the application and during today's hearing, noting that all improvements are in kind, thus qualifying for a certificate of non-applicability. And just a note, I just will reinforce that in the application, the windows will be rebuilt. Existing windows will be rebuilt, including patterns as noted.
Is there a second? I do have a second. Let me take the vote, there's no commentary. Vincent Walsh? Yes. Then that's four.
Yes.
Judy Crowe?
Yes.
Walker Crowe?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, what
Well,
happens after this?
forward to it. It's a letter of support and then a couple of days, I was gonna. The process can be, we're just kind of gonna check the box that you're okay with. We're okay with the project and it's not part of it. And you want the residents, how you guys, if something structurally changes, they have. Yeah, and everything there is great. Yeah, anything added there. So if the Douglas fir tongue and groove flooring, somehow you can't get that, they're gonna use Trex, that's change. You
Okay.
gotta come back before they do it. Okay. If they're not gonna repair the windows, you wanna replace the windows, that's a change, can't do that, you gotta come back. So if anything that's in there changes for some reason during the project, or as they go to start,
Okay.
you gotta come back. But yeah, it's gonna fall away, the granite is gonna find something.
This is great.
If they find something, they have to change, stop. You have to
You
come
got
back
on
here.
that item, I come back again,
Okay.
on that item.
Gotcha.
On that item.
And we keep working on the other stuff.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
What's next on our fabulous agenda is the East Orchard Fire Station preservation restriction.
Yes, so, over the last couple of months, you may recall that some city folk and contractor came in to talk about the Indian Orchard Fire Station. So yep, and we're looking to do a preservation restriction with that property. We're getting close to wanting to submit that to Mass Historic, so while not required to bring it to the local historic commission, I thought it would still be appropriate to show it to you guys and see what you think. This has been reviewed by Attorney Shuchek, and we're just getting the last pieces in place.
The draft looked pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, it looked really good.
You
What is it for people?
Yeah, I used a blend of preservation restriction from the town of Acton and the town of Thorn. So I tend to blend them together to see what would work for this particular project. It was brought up, I know before the hearing that the city can't hold a preservation restriction for itself. And we are aware of that and working on who will hold the preservation restriction.
That'll be interesting, seeing how that gets chosen.
Yes,
Yeah, to get administered.
yes, yeah, it's, there's been discussion, I had a discussion with Mass Historic. There's been discussions with regional planning commissions holding it, so, you know, that's a potential option.
That's historic, that big exceptions with other districts. I mean, yet Springfield can't be the first one to have.
Yeah, I mean, Mass Historic,
They must have done it before, and they said, oh, well, they used this entity.
yeah, there's, some towns have used preservation trusts. Others have used, or they were exploring using commissions. I don't know if they made it that far yet. Basically, the entity has to be what I understood a nonprofit that has some sort of historic preservation.
As part of their core.
Yeah, part of their core. So, you know, if Indian Orchard was looking to update their charter to include that as part of their mission, they could potentially hold it, so. There's some options out there and we're discussing which one. Mass Historic is a fallback option if we can't find some. Okay, so.
Great job, Andrew.
What's that?
So we don't need anything more specific on that.
No, if anything comes up or you think there should be an amendment to it, just let us know.
Do we get reimbursed for the ink that it's a things?
I wish I could be reimbursed for that. So that's that one. So the next item, also me, so if you don't mind, I'll jump right into that, the historic ordinance. So this is the, in your packet is a draft of the proposed ordinance. Our consultant finished up probably around the end of March, and internally we made a few more changes. So I actually went through with coordinating with Phil Romy, our planning director, and June to provide some updates to this. So I think the next step from here is scheduling probably a special meeting, I would recommend, to get public comment. It would probably be best at that meeting to, just take the comments, and then once we hear everything, we can discuss amongst ourselves afterwards.
My comment after scanning through it was, it's great to have a ton of text in language. But I personally think that I have an exhibit that shows graphic examples. Yeah, that shows, this is a new post, this is what we mean by that word. That, in other words, here's a porch, here's all the elements. So what you're saying was, somebody writes it off, state off the hand, the other people, put the other part together, we gotta put that other part together. They're all on.
I mean,
we gotta put it together.
you could put it in an appendix with
Well,
photos,
Yeah, and so I was talking to Judy a little bit beforehand. I did go out and get this book that was recommended by Shannon Walsh. And so I'm hoping that this will help be a guide, not only for the commission during a hearing where we might need to show someone what an example looks like, but I can use this as well for applicants that come in.
Just a little bit of quick. Storm windows, screen windows, windows, antenna, similar appurtenances. Okay, then the next one, signs not more than 1 square foot. I'll show something with a sign and show 1 square feet. And then it'd be very clear.
Yeah.
The reconstruction of something in the exterior. Or how many times have we said rarely no more than the windowsill height above? Yeah. Show an example.
Yeah, and shoot Chuck probably also comment on this, but I think in terms of the ordinance, having a reference to our guidelines, which we've done, so maybe we need to potentially look at updating our guidelines to provide those visualizations. So that way, because once you have an ordinance, it's harder to amend an ordinance than it is a guideline.
So the guidelines should exist, in the hands of somebody.
Yeah.
By that.
but you're gonna be bored at the meeting documents. Yeah, something's wrong. It's kind of explain. Okay.
So yeah, I don't know if now would be a good time to look at the special meeting for the next agenda. I know you got the notice today. We only have 3 public hearings, but I am anticipating more non-applicability applications for the historic restoration grant. So I'm expecting 8.
Outside of
it could be. Yeah, and
we choose.
Yeah. Yeah, and the reason why we bring it to you guys is for public
Transparency, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Because if we delay those another meeting, it doesn't affect their finance, their.
No, I would essentially probably, because they have a deadline, I think, towards the beginning of June, so they might need those sooner than later.
They do have to.
Yeah, I could
We
approve
have
it,
to do, right.
I could approve it, and then we can do it afterwards, but I think it might be best to see it before.
Those come first.
So, and then our June 19th meeting is canceled due to Juneteenth and the office being closed that day. So we were already exploring a potential meeting on June 26th, but that might be for hearings. So I don't know if we want to aim for a hearing that's maybe, or a public comment meeting for, we said the 12th.
May 12th?
June.
June 12th.
Yeah.
So we'd be looking at second and fourth Thursdays in June instead of first and third. Well, I guess we have the fifth as well, so we'd be doing three
Three
meetings.
in that.
Yeah, in June.
Okay.
But my favorite thing to do on Thursday night.
So I'm missing the dates. What we
So June 5th is our regularly scheduled meeting. June 12th would be a special meeting for comments on the ordinance. And then June 26th would be our meeting.
Second for the 19th, they can't.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're also gonna cancel July 3rd because of the 4th of July.
Right, 4th of July.
Yeah. So,
Well, this is covering. We got. That's okay.
yeah, no, this is a draft and, we're ready to put it out there as more comments, so.
Well, there were a couple of things in there I saw that.
Mhm.
They were not.
Yeah.
We're gonna see frustration the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
The third time.
Yeah. And,
Sometimes you read it, it's okay.
yeah,
Or find something else.
Yeah.
There's a couple little tweaks in there that I saw in one that I thought I didn't see. We can do that the next.
Mhm.
What else?
So that brings me to my stuff, so, right in front of me. I will start off with Eversource. I know Walter met with them Tuesday.
Gas under source.
Gas.
To be clear.
Yes, so, just so you are all aware, I've had a conversation with Rick and Amy separately from scheduling Walter. So, it was brought to my attention that, a meter was placed on the front of the house on Ingersoll, and then another one showed up at the corner of Bay and Westminster on an apartment building. And so I came to find out that they were electric meters. And so there's a new policy, as you know, with the gas meters, but it also extended to the electric meters. Anytime they're doing a replacement and the meter's inside, they have to put it outside. So the building department, the person that handles the electrical permits, he was unaware that historical was required because he just had never dealt with historical before. So I had a conversation with the building department. They are now aware that any electrical meter that is being relocated to the outside needs to be sent down to me, and I can assist if it needs a non-applicability application or if it needs to come to the commission. So that should be squared away going forward. Unfortunately, those two instances had already received their electrical permit, so it's the horse is out of the barn.
So I just have.
Mhm.
Has Eversource ever put in writing why the meters need to be in the front of the house?
It's their, in the front of the house, I don't know.
They just do it so they can drive by and just.
Okay, well, the whole meter. Here's my complaint. The complaint is, it used to be that the meter reader needed to get to the thing rather than going into someone's basement or the back of the property. Right, it's safer. However, the readings from the meter are sent electronically from the meter
There's somebody driving down the street in a truck. He never gets out of the truck.
They're even changing that.
And they're changing that even more. So why do the meters have to be moved?
Do you want the real reason?
Yeah, I know the reason, but I want them to put it.
I would love
So
to
if you don't pay your bill, I don't have to get in your house.
That's the reason.
Cause if I can't have access, I can't shut it off. But no,
Have
I'm
an
outside of the
external
building.
shut off.
It's the meter.
Having an external shut off is completely understandable.
They can shut it off in the street.
But to read it, and they can read it from wherever it has to be.
The general response has been for safety.
Since when I follow
But,
all the
but
time.
there's no receipts that say, what's the difference? Safer than what? Safer outside the house?
As long as that shut off, if the shut off is right with the meter in the back of the house, it
Right.
save us a lot of aggravation.
Right.
So, well, I'm hoping going forward.
That would be
the electrical
tremendous.
meters will
No,
come to-
Rick had a question, and I said this is a better question for you, because they have a project, like some of the ones in McKnight, there's gonna be like
Yes.
50 houses or whatever.
Yeah.
So he wanted to know, do they have to fill out one application at a time and come for every single one? Or can they submit in groups and say, you know, hey, here are all the addresses, this is where it's gonna go. Like, is it not applicable, Andrew? Like, this is where it's gonna go.
Yeah,
Can we do this in a group, or are you gonna make us do them one at a time? He didn't care, he just said, like, you know, we're gonna have like 50 of them, we know what the addresses are.
yeah, I mean, I guess from a application processing standpoint, and I probably, want to make sure with Attorney Shuchuk that it's okay, but having it all in one application seems fine, it's just I'm gonna file it away in every single one. Like,
Right.
but- which is fine,
All
but,
is not equal. We
Yeah.
talked about before, I forget who was talking. But, I was there, I forget who was there. It's that they agree to specifics, certain things, and then if the specifics aren't met, then it would come from
Yeah.
individual.
Yeah.
I thought we could work that out, we have to see what they're saying. X, Y, Z, if we can't do it, we'll come in front of you.
Okay.
You know,
Well, again, this is just on the gas side, so what Rick said
well,
is, well,
the same process would
same thing,
work for both.
Right. right, for both, we need a commitment from them, but he was very accommodating to the point where, like, if we can move it further back, is that good? If we move it, you know, it doesn't have to be right in the front, if it's 25 feet further back, we could do that. We could I'll buy any kind of shrub you want, if you want a shrub in front of it, it has to be in the front, we don't have a choice. Like, we can't put it on the driveway side, because otherwise we have to put big concrete balusters in.
Yeah.
That's why we're putting it on this side. So, and I just gave them the checklist, like around the back is best. If it has to be on the side, further back it can, if it can be in a bump out, it's hidden, great, right? Minimal visibility, kept saying minimal visibility. And he was like, yep, whatever you need, like, they're gonna go in gray, we could paint them black, I guess, if you want them black, but they're a dark gray. So, but wherever we can put them for minimum visibility, we will.
So if you say they can't be in the back, we have to come and sit in front of us for the half hour or an hour and a half that it'll take for the meeting.
that's what it will be.
Somebody can get overtime.
But I'd be, okay with them bringing it all in one, so I can have that discussion with Rick. So,
Okay.
And so that's Eversource, unless you have anything else, Walter, that's all that I have for them.
No, it was exciting to hear that, you know, gas was going. My concern is that electric's always done whatever the heck they wanted, so. If we can have parity, that would be huge. That's been something we've never, ever had
Oh, that's the part that I
any,
also found out, so.
any feedback with. It's just like, let's go in here. There's nothing you can do about it. You don't get a say.
So I, when talking to Amy, she had reached out to someone on the electrical side and had a conversation, so she relayed this information. So I guess it's second degree info, but she said that with the gas meters, Eversource handles it because there's a lot of safety concerns and they don't want people just going in and messing it up.
Yeah.
With the electrical meter, it's typically the homeowner and the electrician that are handling moving the meter. So So that's where I think it's gonna be important with the building department, to make sure that they're communicating.
Well,
with us.
that's true and it's not true.
Yeah.
Because if you've been to any of these meetings, people come here and say, Eversource said it has to be here.
Yeah.
We haven't heard that once. We've heard that every single time.
That's
Every single, especially on solar. Eversource said it can't go there, it has to go here. So the homeowner never had a say,
Yeah.
the solar guy never had a say. Eversource, and we heard it every single time from every single project manager. So that's, you hear it once or twice.
Yeah.
When we hear like every single time, that's Eversource
Yeah.
saying that. That's not like somebody that got it wrong.
Yeah.
The contractor was trying to move it because it was easier.
Yeah.
So, if
I'm hoping I can get a contact in the electrical division of
it's a
Eversource.
good time to have pressure because they're under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So if we can get, if they're open to doing little things like this, it's good for us.
Yeah.
Because we'll finally get to have a little say on the appropriateness. It may still have to go in the front.
Yeah.
If there's no other way, but you know, we've all seen it where a lot of times you can put it somewhere else. Right? It wouldn't have been a big hardship.
Eversource has a history of not giving out the lion rents.
Yeah.
Backside.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of
They're
surprised.
lighting Forest Park and stuff, they're changing stuff out now. They could put liquor store fixture, they just don't. Something else, so they don't, we're prepared to.
So
I always figure that people are trying to do the least amount with the least cost.
Absolutely. Yes, they are. I say, I pay Eversource enough to put a couple of things, and that might be a store.
I'll fly through this part. Did 4 letters of support, one for the Rainbow, one for Newport Terrace Apartments, that's the Fire Street, where Brady, Keller Block. It actually is, Harem and French Road Houses, that's on Maple Street, and Hotel Stonehaven, Chestnut Street, all of them are looking for updates. 70 Buckingham Street, that's the garden trellises and feather boxes, I issued that non-applicability. 142 to 148 Middle Street, changing asphalt shingles to asphalt shingles. 136 Bowden, yeah. 142 to 146, they said asphalt to asphalt. Same with 136 Bowden, asphalt shingles to asphalt shingles. 27 Greenleaf, they are replacing a ceiling beam and porch footings. Porch footings won't be visible. The ceiling beam is in kind, it's going to be wood. So, and then the last thing is I got this letter regarding 780 State Street. Is a National Register nomination. So.
And what is the registration?
So, so we got June 5th, or May 15th is our next one. May 15th, yeah, May 15th, 2 weeks. Thank you.
See you all.
Somebody must have presented a letter to them for it to be
I
added to the
think
record.
so we'll be back in the country agreement.
Hey, where are we going?
Is everyone else available for that meeting, May 15th?
Something is, I just look real quick here, because if he's not gonna be here, I'm not. Gotta have.
Yeah. And then,
I will not be here on June 19th.
We won't be here on June 19th either, because we're not having one. Right.
We're not.
No, because it's.
I thought we just added-
No, we're doing 5, 12, and 26. Because the 19th is Juneteenth, so we decided we wouldn't have a meeting then.
Well, then yes,
Right now.
change it.
so I'll have to reach out to,
Probably a little earlier. Maybe a day or earlier.
Okay.
Just so I'll, leave it.
so
Are we?
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah. Second.
Thank you.
Aye.
We have a motion, I heard a
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.